Chapter 41 The Winter. When Ross lived on the island, winter where it had seemed like a long, cruel blizzard. On Hilltop Farm, winter wasn't quite so harsh. The temperature fell but then rose. Storms came and then went. Snow piled up and then melted away. Ross spent winter preparing the farm for spring. She wanted everything to be perfect for when she left. She tuned up the machines that she made the fertilizer from old grass clippings and manures. She planned which crops would be seeded in which fields. She carefully looked over the herd, making sure each cow was happy and healthy. She made long lists of supplies, and then Mr. Sharif placed big orders. The herding machine hauled bales of hay into the pasture, and the cows gathered around to eat, steam puffing from their mouths. Some of the cows were dried off and wouldn't be milked again until after the calving season. Others went to the milking parlor twice a day as usual. Bottles were filled, boxes were loaded, and the milk truck rolled away on its next delivery run. No matter the season, the dairy farm kept chugging along. After school, Jaya and Jed ran to their bedrooms and got right to their homework. And when their homework was finished, their secret studies began. They researched the design and the construction and maintenance of robots, hoping to discover some way for Ross to safely escape. The information wasn't easy to find, but the children were persistent, and after weeks of work, they finally found what they were searching for. Chapter 42 The Plan. Jaya pressed a button on the side of the milking parlor, and the door hummed open. She and her brother stepped inside and wounded their way past gleaming pipes and tanks and over to where Ross was cleaning some equipment. "We found a diagram of your design," said Jaya. "We think we can help you escape." "The problem is your transmitter," said Jed. "That's the device that sends out your electronic signal. If we can remove your transmitter, you'll be able to run away whenever you want, without anyone tracking you." "Do you know how to remove it?" asked Ross. "I think so," the boy chuckled nervously, "but we won't know for sure until we open you up and take a look." "We'll have to do it late at night," said Jaya, when Dad is sleeping. We just need to find a place where we can work in private," said Jed, rubbing his chin. "How about the old barn?" said Ross. "It is quite quiet and hidden. I can prepare the barn today and you can operate on me tonight." Everyone agreed, and the plan was set. Chapter 43 The Operation. Midnight, the children were wide awake in their beds. Jaya and Jed were waiting for their father to fall asleep. Once he had snoring deeply, they tiptoed past his bedroom, down the stairs, and out the back door. They crept across the farm to a cluster of trees, and there was the old barn, looming above the undergrowth like a mountain. Its door was open a crack, and a wedge of light spilled outside. The children closed the door behind them and walked past wooden railings and stairways, and up a ramp of platform in the back corner of the barn. Lanterns hung from the walls and cast their soft light upon a large table. Landing behind the table was the robot. "Hello, children," said Ross. "How do you like our operating room?" "It's a little dark," said Jaya, "but it'll work." Jed pulled his computer from his pocket as he brought up the diagram of Ross's body. His face tightened with worry. "We've never done anything like this before." "Just do your best," said Ross, patting him on the back. "This is all I can ask of you." The robot unfastened her tool belt and dropped it over a railing. Then she lay flat on the table. It was time to begin. Jaya looked down at Ross. "All set?" Ross looked up at Jaya. "All set." The girl felt under the robot's head, found a button with her finger, and pressed it. Click. Ross's body relaxed. Her quiet whirring slowly stopped. Her eyes faded to black. Jed took a deep breath. Then he grasped the robot's head in his hand and twisted until it popped off. In the smooth socket where the head had just been as another button. Jaya pressed it and the robot's chest opened up. They peered into the hollow chest cavity and saw a tangle of tubes connected to a grid of boxes. "These are the robot's electronic organs." "That's the transmitter," said Jed, pointing. The children reached into the robot's chest, carefully removed a box and a tube, and set them on the table. "That was easy," said Jaya, smiling. "Actually, I think this is the transmitter over there," said Jed, and she removed another box. Then Jaya removed another tube. The boy checked his computer and said, "I might have this backward." A bed of sweat rolled down his forehead as he removed another box. "Wait, I think we should start over." Jaya nudged her brother out of the way and started plugging parts back into the robot's chest. "You're doing it wrong." Jed nudged his sister out of the way and started removing parts again. I don't know about you, reader, but I'm a little confused." So were the children. Pretty soon Ross's internal parts were strewn across the table, as nobody knew where anything was supposed to go. "Why did you remove so many boxes?" yelled Jaya. "Why did you remove so many tubes?" yelled Jed. The siblings argued for a while. Then they sat quietly for a while. The children were tired and cranky and afraid that they'd never get Ross working again. Jaya slumped against the table and looked up at the ceiling. Then her eyes drifted on the lantern dimming, glowing above. And then she had an idea. She climbed onto the wooden railing, grabbed one of the lanterns from its hook, and climbed back down. When she held the lantern close to Ross's body, Jed noticed that there were different numbers slightly etched onto each of the internal parts. Now things were starting to make sense. The children quickly removed the correct box and tube. They put the robot back together, and they turned her on. The children quickly removed the correct box and tube. They put the robot back together, and they turned her on. Click. Ross's body tensed. Her quiet whirring slowly started. Her eyes began to glow, but she didn't say a word. "Are you okay?" said Jed. Ross put into her mouth. "Can you speak?" said Jaya. Ross shook her head. "She can't speak," cried the boy. We must have put something back in the wrong place." Click. The children opened up Ross's body, rearranged some of her internal parts, and put her back together again. Click. Ross powered up and said, Click, the children opened up Rose's body, rearranging some of her internal parts, and put her back together again. Click. Rose powered up and said, Children, I can now speak, but I cannot move. Click. After hours of trial and error, and with morning light seeping into the barn, the operation was a success. Ross stood up, scanning her internal parts, and said, Children, you did it! You removed my transmitter. Thank you so much for your help. You're very welcome, said Jaya Yang. Jed checked his computer. I can still see your signal on the map, he said. Your transmitter is still working, so keep it close until you leave the farm. And then he stuffed the little electronic device into the robot's tool belt. Children, there is a bit of bad news, said Ross in a serious tone. I knew you have been up all night long, but I am afraid it is time for you both to get ready for school. Chapter 44 The Patient Robot. After being trapped on Hilltop Farm for nearly a year, Ross was now free to run away at any time she liked. But without Brightbill to guide her, she wouldn't make it far. So the robot patiently waited for spring to come, and for her son to return, so they could begin their long journey home together. Chapter 45 The Barn Conversations. As winter dragged on, Ross spent more of her time inside with the herd. There were long stretches of quiet. The cows chewed their hay. The robot tapped the farm computer. The wind gently rattled the windows, and then someone would start talking. Someone else would chime in, and the quiet of the barn would gradually be overtaken of conversations like these. I am so bored, Tess was staring at the floor. I can't wait until spring, when I can wander through tall grass and feel warm sunlight on my back. I just hope I don't die of boredom first. Old Annabelle snorted. You young cows are spoiled rotten, she said. Your lives are so easy, and still you find things to complain about. Tess rolled her eyes. Yeah. We should be grateful for what we've got. You've told us before. Well, you should be grateful for what you've got, said Annabelle. I've lived on other farms, and trust me, you can't have nothing to complain about it. Tess couldn't help being curious, and she said, What were those other farms like? Oh, I'd rather not discuss them, said Annabelle in a low voice. You see, I witnessed some terrible things on those farms. It was a blessing when I was moving here, but I often think about the animals I left behind. I hope they're okay. The old cow sank into the doubt for a minute. I know life here isn't perfect, she said at last, but we have so much to be grateful for. We have our lovely herd. We have this beautiful barn, and we have Ross, added Tess. And we have Ross. Annabelle turned and smiled at the robot in the corner. Ross listened to us and treats us with love and kindness, and she makes our life as comfortable as she possibly can. We certainly will miss her when she's gone. Ross, why do humans need so much cow's milk? Said Lily as the other calves crowded around her. It was a question they'd all been wondered about. Well, there are billions of humans in the world, explained Ross, and many of them drink milk and combine it with different ingredients, so to make different foods. What kinds of foods? Said another calf. Butters and cheese and yogurt are made with milk, said Ross. Many desserts are also made with milk. What's a dessert? Said someone else. A dessert is a sweet food eaten at the end of the meal. Popular desserts included cake, custards, and ice cream. This answer only raised more questions. What is cake? What is custard? What is ice cream? Ross tried her best to explain these foods to the calves, but it wasn't easy. After all, the robot it couldn't even perform the simple act of eating. How could she possibly describe the flavors and sensations of tasting delicious desserts? Lily interrupted. Just tell me this, Ross. When we're older, will our milk be used to make desserts? Yes, said the robot. The calves smiled. Then they trotted away, happy in the knowledge that someday they'd help to bring sweet and delicious things into the world. It is almost spring, said Ross to the herd. It is almost time for me to run away, back home to the wilderness. I am sorry that I must leave, but you will all be well cared for when I am gone, I promise. Cows began mooing from their stalls. Don't worry about us, Ross. There's no need to apologize. We understand why you're going away. Lily poked her head through the railings of her tail and said, I could never run away to the wilderness. I would be too frightened. I love to roam through the wilderness, said Tess. It sounds so exciting. No wilderness for me, thank you very much, said Annabel. I just want a quiet, cozy life. I have plenty of fear in the wilderness, said Ross. However, I have more to fear here. I can never be my true self around humans, and so I must try to return to my home. I only wish I could do it by myself, she went on, but I need help. I can never escape from the farm without the children, and I can never find my way home without my son. I feel bad for asking so much of them. Don't feel sad, said Lily. Bright Bill and the children want to help you. They love you. We all do. The farm wouldn't feel the same without you, Ross. But we know you're doing the right thing. The herd agreed with Lily. The door out the barn. Ross and cows quietly nodded their heads.